Jide had been away on a business trip for 2 weeks, and he couldn't wait to return home to his wife, Ada. They had a strong relationship, at least that's what he thought. He had even brought her a beautiful gift to show his appreciation. But as he opened the door, a strange silence filled the house. It was unlike Ada to be so quiet. He called her name, but there was no response. The house felt off. Something wasn't right. He walked into their bedroom, his heart racing with anticipation. But the scene he saw made him freeze. Ada was in bed with Chuka, his best friend. The betrayal was immediate and crushing. Jide, wait. Let me explain. Ada cried, pulling the blanket over her naked body. But Jide didn't need an explanation. The betrayal was plain to see. Jide's hands trembled as he looked from Ada to Chuka. His best friend, the man he trusted above all others, was in bed with his wife. How would you feel if you walked in on your wife and your best friend in such an intimate situation? Would you be able to move past it?
My friend Jide was left standing there, his heart broken in a way he never thought possible. What would you do if you were in his shoes? Let us know in the comments. And if you want to hear what happens next, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We have more shocking and mind-blowing stories coming your way, so don't miss out. Last continue.
The tears in Ada's eyes weren't enough to calm Jide's raging heart. Jide, please, just listen, Ada begged, but Jide was too far gone. His world had collapsed, and the anger surged through him. But Ada had one more bombshell to drop. Jide, she began, her voice shaky. There's something I've been keeping from you. The child, our son, he's not yours. He's Chuka's. Jide's breath caught in his throat. He staggered backward, his knees nearly giving out beneath him. Chuka, who had been silent, stood there, his face filled with guilt. Jide looked at the two people who were supposed to love and trust him, but all he felt was emptiness. The son he had raised, loved, and cared for was not his. His life had been built on a lie. Could you handle learning that your entire family was built on lies? What would you do in Jide's shoes? Jide's fists were clenched as he looked at Chuka, the man he had once considered a brother. He couldn't speak at first, the words getting stuck in his throat. How could you do this to me? Jide finally managed to say, his voice breaking. Chuka lowered his gaze, unable to meet Jide's eyes. He had no excuse. He knew he had crossed a line, but nothing could erase what he had done. I never meant for things to go this far, Chuka muttered, but it sounded hollow. I didn't mean to hurt you. Jide let out a bitter laugh. You didn't mean to hurt me? You slept with my wife, Chuka. You've ruined everything. My family, my trust, everything. The betrayal wasn't just emotional. It felt like a physical blow. His best friend had taken the one thing Jide had always cherished, his wife's love. How do you confront someone who has destroyed your trust? What words could heal the hurt caused by the people closest to you? Ada sat on the edge of the bed, unable to look Jide in the eye. She had never meant for things to get this far. The affair with Chuka had started out innocently enough, but somewhere along the way, it became more than just a fleeting mistake. Jide, Ada began softly, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. It just happened. Jide could barely breathe. How could she be so casual? How could she stand there, offering nothing more than weak apologies? Ada's voice cracked. I didn't want to tell you. I thought I could keep this from you forever. But now you know, and I can't take it back. Jide's eyes were filled with pain. You've betrayed me in the worst possible way, Ada. You've ruined us. Ruined me. But even as Ada apologized, Jide realized that no apology could ever undo the betrayal. Could you ever forgive someone who betrayed you so deeply? Can love overcome such an unforgivable act? Jide paced back and forth in the living room, his mind spinning. His best friend and his wife, two people he trusted most in the world, had turned their backs on him. But the hardest question was yet to come. What was he supposed to do now? His son, the boy he had raised as his own, was not his. How could he continue to be a father to him when the truth had been revealed? How could he stay with a woman who betrayed him in the worst possible way? Ada, meanwhile, was sitting in the corner, her eyes pleading with him. Jide, please. I'm sorry. I was wrong, but please, let's fix this. Jide looked at her, his eyes filled with conflict. I don't know if I can fix this. I don't know if I can forgive you. The weight of the decision was unbearable. But no matter what, one thing was clear. Jide could never go back to the life he had once known. Could you find a way to forgive your spouse and move forward? Or would the betrayal be too much to overcome? Shuka had been avoiding Jide ever since the affair came to light. But Jide, consumed by anger, demanded an explanation. I need to know why, Shuka, Jide said, his voice cold. Why did you do it? Shuka hesitated, looking down at the floor. I don't have a good reason. I was weak. I let my feelings for Ada cloud my judgment, but as the words left his mouth, Shuka added something that stopped Jide in his tracks. Jide, I never meant for you to find out this way. The truth is, I've always felt like I've been living in your shadow. You've always had everything. Ada, the job, the life. I just wanted to feel important. I wanted her, and I thought if I had her, I could have everything you had. Jide stared at him, speechless. The betrayal wasn't just about Ada. It was about Shuka's own insecurities and jealousy. How do you respond when someone admits their betrayal was driven by envy? Can you ever look at them the same way again? The affair with Shuka wasn't the only secret Ada had been keeping from Jide. As he dug deeper, he discovered something even more disturbing. Ada had known Shuka for years before they met Jide. In fact, she had been in a secret relationship with him long before Jide ever came into the picture. Their affair had begun as a way to keep Jide at bay, and over the years, it had spiraled out of control. I never wanted you to find out, Ada admitted, her face filled with shame. Shuka was always there for me before you were, Jide. I never thought it would go this far. I never thought we'd hurt you like this. Jide's heart broke all over again. Ada's betrayal wasn't just with Shuka. It was with the man she had once truly loved. And now that truth was more painful than anything. What do you do when you realize that your relationship was built on lies from the beginning? Would you still trust someone who had so many secrets? Jide sat alone in the living room, staring at the photograph of his son. The boy, whom he had loved as his own, was not his. Shuka's blood ran through his veins. The betrayal from Ada was devastating, but now, this new truth hit harder than anything else. How could he continue being a father to the boy he had raised if the boy wasn't his? Ada tried to comfort him, but the words never came. Jide, he needs you, she said softly. He doesn't know the truth. He thinks you're his father. Jide was torn. Could he walk away from the child he had loved? Or did he owe it to the boy to remain a father despite the betrayal? Is blood truly thicker than water? Could you continue to care for a child who wasn't yours by blood but had grown up in your arms? Weeks passed, but Shuka's apology to Jide never seemed to be enough. He came to Jide on his knees, begging for forgiveness. I've lost everything, Jide, Shuka said, his eyes filled with regret. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I want you to know how deeply sorry I am. I made a terrible mistake. Jide stood in front of him, emotionless. You ruined my life, Chuka. I can't just forgive you like that. You've destroyed everything I held dear. You betrayed me, and now you want forgiveness. But Chuka was persistent, pleading for a chance to make things right. I don't deserve your forgiveness, but I need to at least try. Can someone ever truly redeem themselves after such a deep betrayal? What would it take for you to forgive your best friend after they wronged you in such a way? Jide sat at a table with his closest friends and family. They had all heard the story and each had their own opinion on what he should do next. Some urged him to let go of the past and work things out with Ada, while others told him he deserved better than both Ada and Chuka. His older brother, Peter, spoke first. Jide, you can't let them destroy you. They've both betrayed you in ways that can't be undone. You need to move on. Ada, who had been silent until then, spoke up. Jide, please don't listen to them. I'm sorry for what I did, but I need you. But it was his friend, Kemi, who caught his attention. Jide, you need to focus on yourself. You can't keep punishing yourself for their mistakes. If you stay with Ada, it's only because you're holding on to a past that doesn't exist anymore. The family's support was divided, leaving Jide to make the hardest decision of his life. When the people closest to you don't agree on the best course of action, who do you listen to? Can family and friends help you heal after such betrayal, or do you have to find your own way? Jide couldn't hold it in anymore. He needed answers. He needed to know how Ada's family could stand by and let her lie to him for all these years. He called a family meeting, demanding that Ada's parents and siblings be there. When they all gathered, Jide wasted no time. Why didn't you tell me the truth about her affair? Jide asked, his voice trembling with anger. How could you sit there and watch me raise a child that wasn't mine? How could you let me be deceived? Ada's mother, tears in her eyes, tried to defend her. We didn't know how to tell you, Jide. Ada was so ashamed of what happened. She begged us to keep it a secret, but Jide wasn't buying it. So, you protected her lie instead of protecting me. You let me live in a fantasy. The silence in the room was thick, and Jide could feel the walls closing in. Could you confront your in-laws when they've allowed betrayal to happen in your own home? How do you face a family who kept such a painful secret from you? Jide spent the next few weeks in a haze. He went through the motions, work, home, and sleep, but nothing felt real anymore. The pain of betrayal lingered with him, eating away at his peace. He would wake up in the middle of the night, staring at the empty side of the bed where Ada used to lie. His thoughts kept circling back to the truth. His son wasn't his best friend had slept with his wife, and Ada had kept secrets from him for years. Ada tried to reach out to him, but Jide was distant. He could see the guilt in her eyes, but it wasn't enough. The love he had once felt for her was gone, replaced by deep resentment. How do I live with this? Jide asked himself one night, looking into the mirror. How do I move forward after all this betrayals? How do you heal when the people you trusted most hurt you the deepest? Can you ever trust again after experiencing such pain? Days turned into weeks, and Ada's desperation grew. She couldn't bear the thought of losing Jide, the man she had once loved. But the damage she had caused was severe. Chuka's betrayal and her lies had torn their relationship apart. One night, Ada came to Jide, holding his hand gently. Jide, I love you. I know I don't deserve it, but please give me one more chance. I'll do anything. I'll make it right. Jide looked at her, but there was nothing left in his heart. You've already made your decision, Ada. You've already shown me who you really are. I don't know if I can love you again after all this." Ada collapsed in tears, but Jide could feel the finality in his heart. No matter how many times she begged for forgiveness, it would never be enough. What would it take for you to forgive someone who had betrayed you? Can love truly survive after such a devastating revelation? Chuka couldn't shake the regret that gnawed at him every day. He had ruined his best friend's life, and now he feared losing both Jide's friendship and the family he had been a part of for years. But when he saw Jide one last time, Chuka's heart sank. He knew their friendship was over, and nothing he could say would fix the damage he had done. "I never wanted to hurt you," Chuka said, his voice shaking. "I never meant for things to go this far." But Jide didn't even look at him. "It doesn't matter, Chuka. You crossed a line that can never be undone." Chuka's shoulders slumped. He had lost everything: his best friend, his family, and his sense of self. Can someone ever truly make up for a betrayal that destroys a friendship? Is redemption even possible after crossing such a line? Months passed, and Jide finally made peace with the truth. He had walked away from Ada and Chuka, determined to rebuild his life. The pain of their betrayal would never go away, but Jide knew he couldn't keep living in the past. He focused on his son, who had become the center of his world. Jide knew the boy wasn't his by blood, but that didn't matter. He was his father, and that's all that mattered. Jide moved into a new apartment, started a new job, and began to heal. He had lost a lot, but he had also gained strength. His future, though uncertain, was now his own to shape. Can you truly start fresh after losing everything you thought you knew? Jide found a new beginning. What about you? How would you rebuild your life after betrayal?
Jide's world has just crumbled before his eyes. The two people he trusted the most have shattered his heart beyond repair. What would you do in his shoes? Would you walk away and never look back? Or would you seek revenge? Tell us your thoughts in the comments. But wait, this story is far from over. What happens next will shock you even more. Make sure to like this video if you felt Jide's pain, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode, turn on notifications because part 2 of this story will leave you speechless. More betrayal, more secrets, more shocking truths. Stay tuned.